Hey, Robert Davis, back with you after a long hiatus to work on my genealogy database program that I developed mainly for my oldest sister and myself and others. But anyway, I wanted to do a tutorial on something fairly simple, but it nagged at me at the back of my mind about saving data automatically instead of having to proactively click the checkbox for the save or post edits on the DB Navigator. Because here's the issue: I have a journal application that I use every day, and I keep it open to that day's entry, and I type things in from time to time. Well, oftentimes I forget to click the post edit button on the DB Navigator, and of course, what happens then is if the program crashes for some reason unknown, you lose some of the data or all of it for that entry. So anyway, here's what we've done. Let's just go ahead and jump right in. It's called my journal. And here's what we've done. It's a very simple program. Have a main form. That's all we got. Then we have this DB Navigator for the query or the table, and this date entry, and this DB memo for the journal entry itself, or multiple entries like I usually do. And that happens because of the ADO connection that connects the query to the database, and then the data source connects the query to the data components here on the form, and then we got a simple quit button. Here's a new feature, and it's simple. It's just a TTimer component on the form. I've set mine to 10,000 milliseconds, which is the equivalent of 10 seconds. And by default, it's enabled, so I don't have to think about doing that. And let's look at the code behind, because it's really quite simple. Here we go. So what happens when the TTimer fires, we do an if query entries dot state in DS edit. That means the record's open for editing right now. I also put it on the DB insert, but I'm not using that. And then if it is in DS edit, we post the query entries and we refresh the DB Navigator on the form. So this little checkbox will gray out, meaning you don't have to save again. So let's see how this works. I'll get rid of this. Here's a test. Now watch the little checkbox on the DB Navigator checkmark. It grays out, see, automatically. I didn't have to click it with my mouse. That's the beauty of this. And the question for the interval is, how much data can you afford to lose? 10 seconds is good enough for me. That's good enough for about a line of text. So I'm never going to be out really more than a line of text in the database. Let's watch this one more time. grayed out. That's all there is to it. Let's look at the code behind one more time so you can get your head around this. We just ask if the query entries.state is in the DS edit mode. And if so, then begin query entries post DB Navigator 1 refresh. And it's really unobtrusive. It doesn't cause any problems when you're typing. So that's all there is to it. It's just that simple. You really can't get any simpler than this. And again, by default, I have the TTimer enabled, set to every 10 seconds, and you can make it faster or slower depending on how much data you feel like you can afford to lose. And there's nothing else involved. And this is where the event comes from on timer. You see this timer 1 timer. So there you have it, the autosave feature. And you can do this in your database applications. You can iterate through the table, the tables, particularly like if you're using a data module for your tables or queries, you can iterate through those components, and if they're in DS edit, you can post to that table and just do that explicitly in code, and nobody sees it, nobody's bothered by it, but it saves data. So that's all there is to it. Again, I'm Robert Davis. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you like. And I'll see you next time, hopefully much sooner. The genealogy thing's pretty well settled down into a fairly completed project. So y'all have a wonderful, let's see, it's 3:12 in the morning. So y'all have a wonderful morning, and I'll see you next time. Okay, again, Robert Davis. Bye.